not have a reason to unite together as a group of farmers. The main objective of forming groups is to access services more easily. It is not possible for people to develop without forming groups or uniting together. For example, after we united to form Kakoge Farmers Association, VEDCO came in to support us construct our own offices.
Sadadi. Jangu wano eriya tuli. Twalina obuzibu bw'emmere ng'emmere tetulima mmere.
We used to have a problem of food at home. We were not growing enough and hunger was common here every year. We were taught to grow enough food for our homes and for business. Cattle used to destroy people's crops. We agreed to have our gardens and farms fenced off to avoid that problem. It wasn't an order from VEDCO, but the decision was entirely made by the community.
VEDCO facilitated a process to harmonize the coexistence of crop farmers and cattle keepers in Nakasongola district by engaging communities and district leaders. In this case, their voices were heard and the issues became part of their agenda. As a result, a food security ordinance was drafted by the district's production department to promote food security in the district.
And after draft, we took it to a council. Secretary for Production read it to the council, and after reading it to council, it was now proposed that it is taken to community. Each councillor was facilitated to go and make a consultation from each sub-county, and members went, consulted communities, parish per parish, and then later on brought what the findings were later after being brought, and clerk to council made points that were common were listed down, and after listing down, then they were once again brought to the council for discussion, and after discussion it was passed and then sent to the minister for approval.
The poverty alleviation through commercialization of agriculture project meets the priorities of the Poverty Eradication Action Plan of the Government of Uganda, succeeded by National Development Plan, which aims at more focused investment on agriculture in order to uplift household incomes. The project also contributes to objectives of the East African community as Uganda is placed to be the food basket of the region. The East African Common Market Protocol, rolled out on the 1st of July 2010, brings together a very big market of 126 million East Africans expected to lean against the benefits of such projects. Its contribution to the Millennium Development Goal, one of halving poverty and hunger in the world by 50% by the year 2015, cannot be underestimated. Although the project has improved the living conditions of over 1,700 farmers in Luwero and Nakasongola districts, there are millions of other farmers within and without the project location whose situation is alarming. But such projects depict potentials. These are likes of Jane Nasiwa, who have not benefited from this project and are still living in extreme poverty.
Some farmers receive training without letting us know about it. They have kept us out of their activities. Such benefits are not meant for people like me. It's not for the poor. It's meant for them. They know themselves. People like me can't be considered. My crops never grow well. I hardly harvest anything. We are faced with hunger, and in most cases I have nothing to give to my children. I indeed have problems. I can't take my children to school, and when they get sick, I can't take them to hospital. In most cases, my brothers help me.
Some farmers have failed to understand the advantages of uniting in groups Yet in their groups, farmers are able to get services, share knowledge on new farming techniques, and learn from each other. Those kind of farmers who don't want to join groups need a lot of motivation.
Despite the achievements of the project during its implementation, a number of issues were identified by project staff and communities to be obstacles to its progress.
Not all farmers participate at the same level, and this one tend to make the target not to be reached as expected. Number two is that the challenging weather we are going through. I remember in 2008 we happened to had a long dry spell, and farmers lost up to around 70 acres of maize in the field.
The process of collecting produce from the farmers in the villages is difficult because of inadequate transportation means. We use bicycles or forced to hire trucks in most cases. Secondly, it is very expensive to hire tractors by majority of the farmers. Another challenge is land. We don't have enough land to expand our gardens. As a result, we are forced to hire land in order to expand and produce crops as a business.
Most of the farmers are involved in a number of activities, so this deters them from working effectively with what we want to achieve. So at times they take long because they are involved in a number of other activities.
The problem we have is lack of market for our produce. We also have no access to farmer loans to boost production.
Getting sufficient farm labor for her 11-acre farm is another challenge. A majority of the youth that would provide this labor have migrated to towns in search of greener pastures. A bigger number of the youth who've stayed in the area are engaged in acts of gambling and alcoholism, which makes it difficult for farmers to get them on their farms. Available labor is not affordable for majority farmers. To keep production in progress, Namutibi gets labor from family members, including her own husband.
I rarely interfere her work because we equally share what we have together. In fact, she is in charge of the pineapple enterprise and she manages it well. She's free to sell at any time and probably tell me what she would like to do with the money. I equally do the same for the coffee enterprise, of which I am in charge.
But this time around, if we are to implement this project again, I think we'll be able to focus on specific value chains. So we need also to look at the utilization of the maize grain and how it links up with the livestock development in this part of the country. We think in a way that is going to be slightly different from what we have done, that is building up the production of grain and then getting it onto the market.
What I want to see done differently, if at all there was a chance for another project, there are about three things. One is investing in water harvesting for crop and livestock production. Two is building farmers' capacity to ably lobby for support services from local government and other utility bearers. Three is increasing the farmers' capacity to access farmers' savings or capital, working capital from different service providers.
The next project would put in consideration the rate at which these farmers are doing their cost sharing, so that we can move at the same pace. Or we could let the farmers cost share before the project starts on, which is a bit difficult.
This time around, we need to look at the issue of value chain finance. How do we work with these farmers to access finance along the various aspects of the chain, of the maize chain or of the livestock chain, so that we can be able now to attract financial institutions within this area to be able to access funds to these farmers, and then they can be able to to produce, adhere to quality standards.